All right, folks. In this episode of Ladders to Leadership podcast, we have Joel and Rob over here from Bright Green Roof. How's it going, you two gentlemen?
Very well.
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Dan.
Yeah, no problem. So we have a unique perspective here where we have a CEO and the founder within the group here. Can you two please share about like what your general role is with Bright Green Roof and just a general idea of like what is it? When I think of a Bright Green Roof, um, it's very vivid for me. Help me understand the name and origin story.
Sure. Well, I guess I might as well start with the origin story. So, what happened was I owned a window cleaning franchise back in the day. This is about 2019. And I'd heard about the industry of roof preservation. And, as a guy who has access to rooftops all the time, every single day, I thought, this could be a good business to get into. And my old man, who had been retired at the time, I figured, you know what, let's maybe bring the old man out of retirement. We can do something together and have a little family business. And so I called him and I said, here's what I'm thinking we could do. We could find a way to source some actual roof preservation treatment, start a business and a brand. And, it just came to me one day. I thought Bright Green Roof, 3 words, 3 single syllables that really don't tell you anything about what we do, but it inspires a little bit of interest, maybe piques your interest a bit. And the idea would be to build a story around Bright Green Roof. Like, we create the brand, we create the story, and it says nothing about what we do, but in time we can get there. So, well, as it turns out, my old man, he was happy to join. We started Bright Green Roof as a small local operation because he happened to know a chemist who understood the chemistry and was able to formulate our own product. And what made our product unique was that it was 100% active, which means it's 100% oil. It's not mixed with water. It's not cut with anything. So we had this unique product. And when we started to spray rooftops, we could see results immediately. What it did for the shingles itself worked beautifully, and you could see the granular surface holding on. You could feel the flexibility. You could just feel like the life breathed back into these shingles. So we knew we were onto something with our small local operation. I think we can do more than just a local operation. It's very simple. The whole process was very simple of getting onto a roof, treating it, getting off the roof, and offering a warranty with it. So I thought, why can't we just create a dealer model where we have this very simple operation, we can duplicate it time after time after time and sell different territories, and we have multiple people operating their Bright Green Roof businesses in their territories. And so that's kind of where we started. And we started advertising for the opportunity to buy dealerships, and we provide the process and the very simple Bright Green Roof model to them. They do that. And actually, Rob was one of the first ones to join the Bright Green Roof system. And so he started his operation. He had a cousin who joined the operation and had their system going, and then a brother, actually. So that's kind of what led us to where we are now, where the corporate team all owns our dealerships, because in time, eventually, Rob and his cousins and brother became owners in Bright Green Roof. And I took a little bit of a step back, let them take over the business, and it's kind of what helped us grow to where we are today. So long-winded, but that's the origin story.
Yeah, that was great. And Rob, I mean, I love that like you joined in on this. What piqued your interest about the potential you saw in being a part of Bright Green Roof?
So, like Joel said, when he created the program, it was a dealership model. What I thought was great about that is a lot of times there's franchise models. With franchise models, there's a lot of restrictions. You have to pay royalties, and with the dealership model, it allowed some flexibility to run the business along under the guidelines. But just because every single demographic is a little bit different, throughout North America, certain times, there's different strategies and ways to go about it, and just the same as there's different homes to treat. For me, I came from a corporate background. I'm actually in the automotive industry, so I was very familiar with the dealer model. I think the thing that kind of piqued my interest the most about it was, I think Joel's initial vision to create a business that will help multiple different layers of people throughout the journey. So, number one, you're going to help out the homeowner. So, getting shingle preservation allows the homeowner to keep the shingles on their rooftop and reduce the spend, right? Because roofing costs can be expensive. And then it allows an opportunity for me to be able to have a sustain a business that will allow me to offer that savings to my community and still have a profitable operation. And then the third win is the environment. So every time that homeowner chooses to get their shingles preserved and not have a re-roof done, that's waste that doesn't go to landfill. And one thing that really I found kind of interesting was Breaking Roof also plants a tree for every roof preserved. So after hearing all about the offer and how things were, and understanding that there's always something new, it depends on whatever industry it is, that I kind of felt that this was getting in on the ground floor of something really exciting, and haven't looked back. So really excited to be here.
Yeah, and I appreciate the concept of preservation because, like, as a homeowner, like we would typically think like, oh, if there's a leak, we have to like patch things up until like it's gonna get replaced. Well, there's another option to this that people didn't think of is adding this additional layer to preserve the shingles in place. Like, why do you think folks aren't aware of this type of solution for them?
Well, it is still in its infancy, right? It's only 6 to 7 years, and I know that seems like a long time, but up until 6 or 7 years ago, the asphalt shingle was put on rooftops, and then when it wore out and it lost its grind to the surface and it began to curl, you rip it off and replace it. So it's still new technology, but it's very simple. It's very simple and fundamental. So essentially, you're just replacing the bitumen that's lost and dried out over time, um, and adding basically preserving those shingles back to where they were when you initially purchased them. So as the bitumen, the oil within the shingle dries out, it loses that granular surface, it loses that adhesion. By adding the oil back in, it kind of fills those cracks, those holes, and holds onto that granular surface, which ultimately is the first line of defense against UV, right? So when you hold on to the granular surface, it's the primary line of defense for roof preservation. So it's still new, but it's so simple. It's kind of like, how is this? How is this new? So it's just educating our clients, educating our customers, and letting them know that this is now an option. It's a real option, and it can be a continued option. It's not like you have to preserve your roof once. You may be able to do it again and again, and just continue the life of your roof. So yeah, it's exciting. We just have to learn how to educate our customers.
And sorry, just to kind of extend on that, like Joel mentioned, that part of the shingle being the first line of defense. Well, the shingle and the roof themselves is the first line of defense in protecting your home, right? So,
Yeah.
everyone wants to make sure that they protect their home, their family, and ultimately, one of their largest, if not their largest investment. And it can get costly, right? And over the years, after kind of getting involved in this, you learn more about the industry. And what we have found is that, the way that shingles were produced, decades ago aren't the exact same way that they are, produced now. So although the technology has come along with changes in material, shingles have started to kind of get a little bit lighter. So we've been told that a decade ago a bundle of shingles would have been 80 pounds. Now they're like just over 50, for example. So being able to do what we can to help out and kind of combat that is just it's really helpful. So um, it is challenging, like Joel mentioned, and we want to work towards getting the information out to people. But it's taking time, and it's a journey that we're happy to move forward with and kind of educate. If we can educate one person a day going forward, and then that person educates someone, then we're on the right trajectory. So.
Yeah, and I doubled down on this. Like when I first was introduced to your company, and I was talking to the team, it's like, hasn't this thing been around for a while? It just seems obvious. It's almost like a Shark Tank moment where like you're watching a pitch, like Scrub Daddy, and you see it's like, oh, that makes so much sense. And it goes, why hasn't anyone started adding a topical layer on this? So I appreciate you just providing the solution, like going through this journey and focusing on the education piece. And I want to double down on this because like as you're starting out and we're
Sorry,
focusing on the education.
clip.
Yeah.
Just for you, for your understanding, I didn't want to correct you. We're not adding a topical layer. Our product is getting absorbed into the shingle, so it's not like it's a protective
Hmm.
coating, right? So it won't stop leaks. It's not something that's going to sit on top of it and kind of protect it from that aspect. What we're doing is we're just kind of bringing the shingles back to how they need to be by adding the oils from the that were lost from the UV rays. So I just wanted to maybe pause you there so we didn't go in the wrong direction.
Totally fine. And this is why this is oh we have the safety word. So appreciate
Yeah.
it. So rolling back, I say this. I appreciate the concepts of what the teams provided over here. And I want to hear more about it because with just educating the consumers and the potential dealers with this, help me understand this. Like what's working really well for your business lately?
So in terms of getting information and content out, we do leverage online, right? So social media, Google, things like that, where we're out there and we're putting together ads to kind of explain the concept of it and how it could help and how it's beneficial. And then our dealers are doing the same thing. So our dealers are out there within their social media, like posting stuff before and after photos, where you can instantly see the change. Um, our dealers are joining their business associations, chamber of commerce. They're getting involved in the community, and that's kind of how they're getting kind of boots on the ground out there to educate people, because it's not something someone might just Google because they don't know it exists yet, right? So a lot of it is kind of kind of going to out there and outreach, person to person kind of thing.
Yeah. If I could add one thing, you asked what works, and I will confidently say the product itself works, and you see it and you feel it almost immediately, and that's what we need to use to give the information to our potential customers, because we've been in business for 6 years now. At this point, thousands of roofs have been sprayed, and surprisingly, not one single warranty claim has come back to us. In other words, it has been doing its job for 6 years for every single roof that it has treated. So if we can communicate that, you know, the product works, we believe in it so wholeheartedly. And if you can see it and feel it and talk to and get some testimonials from past customers, that will be powerful in helping to educate people.
Absolutely. Let's understand more about this. So you mentioned no warranty claim submitted yet, but like help me understand a recent win or success story that you're proud of.
Well, one I can think of that's most recent was we have a dealer in Western New York, just outside of Buffalo. If there's any football fans watching, then you know where the Buffalo Bills play. So right there in Orchard Park, um, just at the beginning of the month, our dealer there was awarded the best new business in the area, and they were so that that alone is a highlight. But a real recent win that they had was in September. They worked with a large company to rejuvenate some of their shingles. So these people had a $800,000 quote to get their shingles preserved, and they were able to save this business over $700,000 by going with Bright Green Roof. And so that's a huge cost savings for anyone that's in operations in terms of business. So it's not just homes that we treat; it's anything with asphalt shingles, asphalt rooftops. So I mean, that was the most immediate success story that I could think to share.
Wow. Wow. I mean, to save that much money with it and to for a solution that people may not even know about, like how you described it, it's like that's the story that needs to be relayed out to end consumers. As a homeowner and with asphalt shingles, I wouldn't have even known this, let alone I'm sure it scales out with commercial properties.
Right.
So tell me about with this. Like, there's so much movement and momentum going with Bright Green Roof. What's hard about running your business right now? You're 6, 7 years in. It's like I'm sure the challenges you're facing now are different from what you're facing when you first started.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead, Rob? I know what I can add, but I feel like you can answer this one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks. So I feel like I know that like as Joel mentioned, I was one of the first dealers to join Breaking Roof. So at that time, just to get those first few dealers to understand the concept and to trust in the product, that was that was a little bit of a hurdle then, right? And then as you get your fifth dealer, your dealer, those kind of things don't become your challenges anymore. Now it's how best to help and manage the network, right? So just recently, just after the second half into the second half of 2025, we were able to launch a program and allocate staff, and one of our owners of the company to work with the dealers to support them along their journey. So we were able to do it, as needed, right? And within the days, the time we had, right, when we think we were a lot smaller, so we're able to focus more on working with them then, right, to each of the dealers for any of their concerns and training and things. But as we started to grow, we had to make sure that it was important to, because based on our foundation of Breaking Roof, we think of our dealers as a family. We want to make sure that we continue to give them that kind of love. So that was probably the most recent challenge, but we were, able to combat that by hiring some staff to, move some roles around internally, and then make sure that we had one of our owners in the company who runs a very successful dealership to be able to work with the active dealers and show them, how to continue to grow what they've started and kind of continue to excel.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, Rob, because like when I hear about new franchises, it's like, okay, here's the franchise fee, here's the marketing fee, go and do it off. Oh yeah, we're gonna send you to some insert brand university for 2 weeks. But what I'm hearing from you is no, we're connecting you with one of our owners who are also a dealer to show what good looks like and showing like, hey, like this is what's replicatable to at least get the momentum going for success and getting new business in.
Yeah. Well, even sorry, just to kind of elaborate on that. Just that one role I was talking about was how to continue to work with them throughout their journey. We do have like a Breaking Roof University that the new dealers are kind of enrolled with, where we make sure that they understand everything about Breaking Roof, how to operate their business, um, tips and tricks, and kind of things how to operate, how to leverage CRM. Um, so, and at that point, our dealers are onboarded. We help them out with, we have offer digital marketing, websites. We send out, the swag and kind of apparel and things like that, so they can, start right away and feel like they have this business and they look the part as well. So, kind of like from the journey from when they first applied to kind of learn more about Breaking Roof, we kind of walk them through that roadmap, and they join us throughout the whole time. We have dedicated staff for each individual role, and then as long as they're with Breaking Roof, they're still going to continue to get that same level of support from us.
Great. Joel, do you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I would say that one of the biggest challenges is definitely competitors, right? There's 6 years ago, there was three, maybe four players in the game. Now, who knows how many there are. So it's a challenge for us to, again, educate what makes Bright Green Roof different. So we have a unique offering with Bright Green Roof and our 100% active, 100% bio-based oil treatment. So we do have a niche, and we are unique in that sense. And so it's just communicating that to aspiring dealers and clients who are looking to have their roofs treated. So, competition is a good thing. It's always a good thing. It helps everyone to improve, strive to improve. It helps combat pricing. It drives price down, which makes it more efficient for the actual customer, aspiring dealers, which is always a good thing. And it forces you to adapt to changes. So it has been a challenge, but we definitely have a unique offering. And so I think that's what differentiates us.
I'll also say that like competition also is a sign that there's people that see success where what you're doing, and they want to take a piece of the market share to some degree. So it's also validating that like, hey, you found something that's truly valuable for the end customer, and people want to follow your formula to some extent.
Absolutely.
So from an operational perspective, because with you're growing the business dealer by dealer, you have competitors in place. Let's talk about your operations. Like, what do you think are some bottlenecks to that you're experiencing before you reach that next level for your goal and for your company?
I think just like Joel said, as the Shingle Preservation becomes kind of like a bit larger than it was at one point, we have competition, right? So we're meeting with potential people that might want to come on, like whether it's a person that wants to become an entrepreneur and start something, or whether it's an existing business that wants to add our service on. It's working with them to try to show them what Breaker Roof has to offer. So that would probably be one of the larger challenges. And just to kind of let you understand a bit more about what we mean when we talk about our product. So our product, what we mean by 100% active, it's that our product, every drop of our product goes directly onto the shingle. So as we spray it out, it goes right into the shingle. You can see exactly where you've sprayed, where you haven't sprayed, and you instantly see the transformation of bringing the shingle back to life. And so that's kind of what sets us aside. We're proud to have our product be 100% USDA approved bio based. So kind of fits in with the green aspect of our name plate. And why and how that kind of sets us aside from others is the vast majority of other operations and other products out there is an emulsion. So what that is it's product that's mixed with water as a delivery system, and then delivered that way. So they're not that we're saying by any means that it could be overcomplicating, but there's no worry for mixing or anything like that, or trying to calculate how much product's required for certain types of slopes. Our product is just kind of simple, and it's something that we have been able to leverage to get us over some of those bottleneck challenges that we've been faced with.
Yeah, if I could just elaborate a little bit. When water is used as a carrier, the water is not absorbed by the shingle. So if you have a 50-50 emulsion, which is half water, half roof preservation, 50% of that product is used to help make it less viscous so that it can be sprayed. And then that runs off the roof into the gutters. Whereas if you have 100% active, there is no water. 100% of what gets sprayed on the roof is absorbed by the shingle. So with that, you get 100% quality guarantee all the time, and no
And
run.
no pun intended. It seems like the alternative is a watered down solution.
Well, I guess if that's how you'd like to phrase it, but we just like to say it's different. We have a different offering with 100% active. You get 100% quality guarantee every single drop.
That's great. I appreciate this. Let's talk about the future of Bright Green Roof. So we're taking a step back and we're looking at the business at large. Where do you see the business moving towards in the next 12 to 18 months?
So, like currently, right now, Breaker Roof operates at 55 locations across North America. We do plan by the end of 2025 to exceed 60 and then grow from there. Um, we do have dealers in 19 of the states across the US, and 6 provinces in Canada. So, a good kind of like vision at some point, like, we don't want to try to get there too soon and kind of sacrifice anything along the way in terms of quality. So we're taking our time to make sure that we fully lay out the best plan and and execute it correctly. But I mean, I would like, and I mean, maybe this is a bit of a corporate goal, but one for myself as well. I think that there would be it'd be great to have one dealer in every state and province across North America, so we have that full coast to coast coverage, which does allow us to have a larger brand awareness. Maybe a brand nameplate where people will come to recognize it. So that's kind of like our goal in the near future as well as the distant. But I mean, right now we're taking things one dealer at a time. We're helping out every opportunist that comes to us that is looking for this kind of opportunity to offer. And we would like to be able to help out every homeowner, like you mentioned. You'd like to have something like this. We want to make sure that anyone that hears about this has the ability to have the treatment done. So that's that's a bit of a long term goal, and I mean, that's just kind of touching on one thing, but I'll let Joel add anything on top of that.
No, I think we're bang on aligned with that. It's complete coverage across North America, and just the opportunity to give as many people as possible the opportunity to be in control of their time. Own their own business, have a low startup cost, and a highly profitable business that's offering a great service to customers that saves them money. So, as many people as possible control their time. Business owners, inspire the entrepreneurs, and and generate jobs and income and revenue for communities and families across North America.
Yeah, and it's ambitious and it's exciting to see that. What would you say is needed to make this vision a reality? What's the gap today that needs to be addressed?
I think it's kind of the similar gap that we've spoke about, earlier in this podcast, and it's kind of a bit of a recurring thing. Is just awareness of the product, awareness of the service, awareness of the ability to offer something like this. It's just getting out there and like letting people know, right? So, it, not a day goes by where someone's like, "I've never heard of that before," right? And we're like, "Well, it's new." So it's just kind of finding the right way of executing it and letting everyone know that this is something that can happen. Um, so that's kind of what we're working at right now, and along with like you mentioned earlier with some of our competitors, and that's one reason why competition is healthy because it also helps helps like spread the word. Shingle preservation does exist, and it is here, and it is possible. So
Joel, anything to add on that side?
No, Rob nailed it.
So, as we're nearing the close, as we're closing up on this podcast, team, Joel, Rob, looking back, what advice would you give to younger Joel and younger Rob when you first came into this industry?
That's a good question. I think the advice would be trust your gut always. Trust your gut always. If something's wrong, nip it in the bud right away. And make sure you invest your time wisely in finding the right people. So I think that would be sage advice. I think when you have a vision, like you said prior, success doesn't happen overnight. I've heard the phrase before, it takes 20 years to become an overnight success. So you have to think about the 10-year vision. And I think when you think about the 10-year vision, it allows you to think more clearly about how you spend your time and invest your time in finding the right people to make sure that they're there with you in the end, 10 years down the road when your business is thriving and you have coverage across North America and you have the opportunity for an exit strategy, or you just want to stay on board and continue to support your people as they build their businesses. So it's ensuring you have a clear 10-year vision, and that'll help you determine how you spend and invest your time right now.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, if you don't know where you're going, it's very easy to get lost. And I appreciate you describing that and focusing on that 10-year vision. Rob, what about for you?
I guess it would be just similar to what Joel said. Just things will be tough, right? Trust yourself. Build out a plan. Build out that vision. Build that 10-year plan, and just keep working towards it. There's understand that with hard work comes reward. There's going to be late nights. There's going to be weekends. There's going to be working on holidays, but it's going to be rewarding, right? And just stay true to like the foundations of what we're trying to get started, right? So for example, with Breaking Roof, the vision is a very ethical one. It's one that we want to have a company that people want to exist, one that's going to help the environment, that's going to save homeowners money. So just kind of stay true to that, and I guess like to kind of talk a little bit more about how that can be achieved. Like Joel said, you can't be everywhere at once, so find the right people that are experts in their job, in their field, and kind of give them the ability to to work towards that. And that's how you're going to be able to, like, make things easier for yourself and grow. And but still make sure that you build that proper foundation for them and the proper type of training, right? So, I mean, for me, as like a personal example, I taught my kids how to drive manual, right? So when you're driving with them and they shift the gear the exact same time that I would, that's pretty much the same way I feel when I hear one of our sales staff talk to a prospect and kind of repeat the words that they once heard from me, and that that I first heard from Joel, that allowed us to kind of ensure that we just stayed on plan, and just kind of trust the plan. Just keep hard work. It's going to be tough. There's going to be its challenges, but if you set your mind towards something, and you work as hard as you can towards it, you will achieve the goals that you think might not be possible at some times in your life.
Yeah, well said. I've always found that you can beat 99% of the people in your market if you can master the shame of rejection, embrace the boredom of repetition, and the pain of feedback.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's,
good. We talked about advice and things, and then Rob gave the example of training his kids, and I thought a nice thing to add would be, always tell the truth, because if you tell the truth, you have reality on your side. So,
okay, so this was great, folks. I appreciate the advice here. Joel, Rob, where can folks find out more about Bright Green Roof?
So if you're looking to find out about Breaking Roof, you just Google breakandroof.com. It'll take you to the website. You can learn more information. And when you're on the website, you can click on the social links where you can follow us along on our journey: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X. Um, and you can see before and after photos. You can see time lapse videos. You can see what we're doing for the environment. And you'll learn about Breaking Roof from there. And then there's a contact us form. You'll be able to find a dealer near you if you search for the find a dealer location button at the top of the website, and let Breaking Roof come and help you out with your needs.
Great. And this was such a good episode. We've learned a lot over here, and just hearing what's out on the field, and what's even possible that people didn't realize is there as a solution. So, Joel and Rob, thanks again for your time for this episode of Ladders to Leadership Podcast.
Thank you, Dan.
appreciate it. Thank you, Dan.